What is going on YouTube? Hannah back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the very interesting Bitcoin jump that we're starting to see, more specifically the massive XRP bullish movement or rally that we're seeing right now. Very interesting movements all across the board. We're starting to see Litecoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies start to move up ever so slightly. We are kind of hitting a big resistance now though, so that is something I do believe we should start to take a look at. This was fairly unexpected, but also something to consider, as I will explain later on in today's video. Very interesting all around, all across the board. A lot of the cryptocurrencies are ultimately starting to head back up just by a sliver, except for XRP. But otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So as you guys can see, the past couple of videos, I've been fairly bearish on the market, and I still am fairly bearish on the market, even with this slight movement that we're starting to see. If you guys remember correctly, I did say in yesterday and pretty much all my videos that XRP is acting independently from Bitcoin and the other altcoins. It's completely independent for whatever reason. It's not really following Bitcoin. It's not really following Litecoin or Ethereum. And today pretty much proves that. We're currently at 22 cents. You can see the massive uptrend that we're starting to see within this coin, and ultimately it is kind of different than the other cryptocurrencies. You can see everything except for XRP has a gradual trend to the upside. You can see right here in pretty much all the cryptocurrencies except for XRP, which just had an immediate correction or a major swing to the upside. Now, very interesting is I do want to explain and go in depth with today's video as towards what exactly is going on with these prices. Obviously, this was very unexpected. I mean, yes, we could have bought XRP and made out on this, and obviously I'd probably sell off right now, but I just want to show you guys something. It's only big on the 4 hour. It's about a, let's see, percentage wise, it's only about a 12% jump, a little bit lower actually, about an 11 to 12% jump right now. You can see on the daily where exactly we are trading. You can see it is fairly big, but we were in some consolidation. And you can see right here that with the massive descending fractal that's forming on the coin, the massive downtrend, the massive descending triangle, we're really not up by that much in retrospect to everything. And that's kind of what I want to show you guys today. This was expected. I haven't said it in the past couple of videos because I wasn't anticipating it, but it was mentioned, and it is implied though that even being within the downtrend, there is still room to retest the white resistance, which you can see right here. So that's clearly what we're doing. I do believe we're pretty much capped right now. We really don't have room to go much higher, but we are retesting the massive resistance. You can see the downtrend that's pretty much been on XRP for 3 years now, or 2 years now. No, 18, 19, 20, about 2 years now has officially been retested once again. You can see we've done this numerous times, and notice every single time we retest it, we end up correcting lower. Ultimately, you can see where the bottom is on the coin at around 16 cents, which is why I strongly believe that there still is room and potential for the coin to head lower. You can merely see as I zoom out for a couple of things. You can see we kind of bottomed out here, testing oversold on the weekly, which is another great reason for the correction to the upside. You can also see at the bottom wicks right here that we've had a lot of correction or swing to the upside. We've had a lot of buying pressure pushing the coin up, not selling pressure from the upside, which you can see right here. This is a clear reversal candle, but you can see a lot of upwards buying pressure, which is ultimately kind of fighting that resistance, which then broke bullish. And I could see maybe ultimately the top peak that this XRP is going to go to is maybe 23 cents today, but it's just a very small move within the bigger retrospect of things. Ultimately, maybe we retest 23, but I do believe we're going to see an immediate correction, immediate downtrend after hitting the resistance and pulling us back down to about 16 cents. It's only a small temporary movement that we're seeing right now. Yes, it would have been a nice play to capitalize off of, and if you guys got in on this, it's definitely an awesome win for you guys. You can see on the 4 hour right here, it's obviously much harder when we're graphing all cryptos, but you can see the awesome ascending triangle. You can also see we're battling the high-low MMA, the 4 hour high-low MMA that cut across. You can see right now it's very apparent that we're extremely overbought. Wow, I made that disappear as well. I gotta stop doing that. But it's extremely apparent that we were overbought and are overbought on the RSI. It gives us plenty of reason to believe we're actually going to start to correct, which we're seeing right now. There is still room for us to go higher. I do believe we could hit 23 cents, but then I do believe we're going to see an immediate correction in the price. But it is obviously a lovely sight to see major swings like this in the market. But the only reason I've been semi-conservative is in regards to the fact that I do believe we're still within what appears to be a massive descending fractal. Ultimately, whether or not you bought in at 16 or 19 cents, I do believe we're going to head down lower. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter whether you buy in here or whether you buy in down here. Ultimately, I do believe we have enough room to play out. We do have the rest of this that needs consolidation, which then will ultimately break to the upside. So it doesn't really matter whether you bought in at 19 cents, you buy in at 22, or you buy in at 16 cents. We are going to fluctuate within this downtrend right here, and then we're ultimately going to break out. This pattern ends right at around March of 2020. So that's something to consider. So I don't consider this breakout to be really all that special or all that crazy. What I do want to look at is the other cryptocurrencies, because that pretty much sparked a move within Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, which look like they want to head to the high-low MMA on the daily. That's what it appears like. Now we are hitting overbought on the RSI, which you can see right here. That's ultimately why we're not seeing these coins kind of spiral upwards as much as the other cryptocurrencies are. Now, we did mention on Bitcoin that Bitcoin is starting to see these higher lows being set right here and some lower highs each time. Yes, higher lows right here, and then these are the lower highs. I believe I have that the correct way. Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. But you can see we are getting capped at a resistance. So this is pretty much a critical resistance, and it's a critical support. We haven't really tested this since about October 26th, but ultimately this descending fractal has been on the coin ever since, the start of 2019, or sorry, the mid 2019, basically when we got capped up here. Then we started the downtrend, that fractal. I had a feeling that this uptrend was going to be a support. That's why it's been drawn on here. And we mentioned that before, ultimately anticipating a correction to the downside. It seems like it's holding out quite well. Honestly, I was anticipating us to eventually break through here. It seems like we're not doing so. I figured we would use the bottom support, this stronger support right here, which is still definitely a possibility, because also consider that within this descending fractal, you can see there has been many points where we have actually broken out. Almost all of the points where we retested the resistance, we kind of hung out above here, and then we inevitably came crashing downwards. But you can see for some points in time, we did manage to spiral up. And if you guys FOMO bought in, this is pretty much what would happen. You'd see the massive rally, you'd buy in right here, expecting to go higher, and we ultimately do go higher up, and then you'd immediately face the backlash and correct all the way back down to here. That's pretty much why I'm being so conservative right now. It seems to happen with every single time we've retested the top resistance. This resistance right here, you could buy in anticipating a run. We rallied up even higher, and then if you didn't sell out in time, we immediately crashed back down. It's happened over and over. This is the third time where that same exact pattern has happened, and then we corrected all the way back down. So there's still a very good chance we could see that correction happen similar to the past, where we do have a big uptrend. We could see a big wick up to the upside. Now notice when this breakout did happen, we were nearing oversold. We were retesting oversold, and then we shot up to retesting overbought. We're almost there right now, so I don't see us having much more movement upwards. I'd say maybe if we do see any sort of correction to the upside, it would ultimately send us up to maybe retesting the red 4-hour high-low, or sorry, the red daily high-low MMA on the daily price, and then I could see an immediate correction back down, retesting support right here. So that's why I'm really not buying in on this small FOMO jump. It is obviously something we probably could have shorted, or sorry, bought and sold long with a leverage trade, but it's very rapid and it's very quick, and I don't think it's going to last. Also, something to consider is that there is this purple band that we have drawn on here, which does act as quite a bit of resistance on the coin. You can see right here where we've had that problem zone, and you can see once again where we have this problem zone. We're ultimately getting sandwiched in between here. You can see there's some sort of ascending triangle forming. I can draw it out. If I just extend this upwards ever so slightly, you can see that pattern forming. And this ultimately could be another reason for consolidation. You can see we're merely just trending inside of here. Yes, we are kind of heading a little bit outside of the descending fractal, but it's just very temporary. We've seen it do that in the past. Ultimately, we could end up breaking down and crashing to the downside. I'd be very surprised and very shocked if we started to head upside of here. Obviously, that would be great if we could continue to follow this path, if we can continue to trend on here, break out, and then continue to trend on that white line to the upside. That would be amazing, but I do believe that we are going to be retesting the resistance right here very soon, and then we could correct to the downside. So notice in the past how we have had corrections to lower. You can see every single time we have actually drawn out above it, but then we ultimately correct downwards. That is still in play for right now. Yes, we didn't have this support and this uptrend, but there is still reason to expect a correction to the downside, and ultimately my short is still in play, and I don't plan on selling off anytime soon. And honestly, it's not the end of today anyway, but you can see on Litecoin also had their resistance area. We have had wicks in the past where we shoot up higher, and let's see, today is not at the end. We'll see if we can consolidate out of here or if we're going to correct lower. Obviously, if we close today's candle up here, it may be something to consider that maybe the bearish market is over. I don't think it is, but that bear market could be in play, and then we could immediately see some sort of correction to the upside, some sort of swing back to resistance retesting 57, and maybe we break out and we start a new bull market. That would be lovely as well. Same thing goes with Ethereum. You can see the same pattern has happened. We have trended outside of here in the past, and we are still below the high-low MMA. We are still very overextended on the MACD too, so I'm still fairly bearish. I know to some that's going to be upsetting, but honestly, it's too late to jump into this market, at least in my opinion. We could see a little more correction to the upside. It won't be a major percentage gain, but if we continued up, we'd see maybe at most a 17% gain to 10% gain, and that's pretty much going to be it. Otherwise, all the cryptos are starting to hit 4-hour overbought. You can see that same thing is happening here, which is another reason why I don't think we're going to be really moving much higher. But for those XRP hodlers, this was definitely a nice thing to wake up to, a nice thing to expect today. But you can see we're merely still in between what appears to be a descending fractal, so I'm not too upset that I missed out on this little blip in the price, a little 10% jump. It's very small. It's nothing too meaningful right now. There's a very good chance we're going to see that consolidation fairly soon after. Otherwise, guys, that pretty much is going to wrap up today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.